Let's go.
Then after you have great coaches, you get great players, you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to hit that bell notification, that way you get notified every time I post a video just like this one. Without further ado, let's jump right into the topic of this video. The Las Vegas Raiders superstar wide receiver has spoken about his current thought process of the Las Vegas Raiders at this point in time. The Raiders have gone through free agency and the NFL draft, so Devante Adams now has an idea of what type of roster he will play with next season. Now, all these quotes and information has come from an article from The Ringer by Mirin Fader. It was a long article, but a very interesting read if you have time and if you're interested in the subject. But without further ado, let's jump into some of the noticeable takes from this article that most importantly involve Devante Adams and the Las Vegas Raiders. So look, here are some of the quotes. First, Devante Adams talked about the state of the team and where he is at in his career going into his 10th season in the National Football League. Adams stated how he's committed to turning things around in Las Vegas, but a full-blown rebuilding process may take longer than he can afford at this point in his career. As he states, "I don't have enough time for that." He also states the fact that he has reservations about the Raiders' vision for the offense. Adams states, "The front office think that this is the best bet for us right now to put us in a position to be urgent." But Adams does mention the fact that Devante Adams, do not see eye to eye on what we think is best for the team right now. He states how he's gonna have to buy into this plan and try to be as optimistic as possible. It's not what he expected to happen, but it's something that's the reality at this point in time. And he also touched on our new starting quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. He essentially stated how it just depends on how McDaniels ends up utilizing Jimmy G in this offense. He essentially states how if we try to play a certain brand of football, we can get Jimmy G to conform to that play style. But if we try another style, it's going to make it tough for this team to succeed on offense. So look, overall, this article just states the fact how Devante Adams going into his 10th year in the National Football League, he is really struggling with the conflict of not getting any younger. And ultimately now being with the Raiders, it's different for him compared to when he was at Green Bay, because at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers was the leader of that team, being the quarterback. But now being with the Raiders, he is the ultimate leader of the Las Vegas Raiders franchise moving forward. So he's trying his best to find a way to help this team reach the ultimate end goal for him, which is to win a Super Bowl for the Raiders. Yes, he did mention this as well. Devante Adams mentioned the fact that he did not come to the Raiders just to reunite and be cute with his former teammate Derek Carr. That ultimately his ultimate end goal was to win a Super Bowl here with the Raiders. So look, with all this being said, with the Raiders heading into what appears to be a rebuild / a transition year next season, what does this mean for the future of Devante Adams with the Las Vegas Raiders? To me, this just means that the Raiders, we will need to make some noticeable improvements next season and overall just show Devante Adams that this will not be a 3 to 5 year rebuilding phase for the Las Vegas Raiders, that Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels have something up their sleeves. They have a clear vision and they have a legitimate plan to turn this thing around relatively soon, because Devante Adams, he is in the prime of his career and he does not have enough time to spend valuable years on a bad football team. He already had to go through something last season that he has not been accustomed to in his whole career, and that was a lot of losing last year. So really, next season is going to be crucial for the Raiders, because I do think we run the risk of our star player Devante Adams, a future Hall of Famer, potentially demanding a trade if things do not start heading in the right direction. Now look, I don't necessarily think we are obligated to make the playoffs and win a playoff game or anything anything like that, but McDaniels and this front office has to convince Adams of the ultimate plan of the Raiders to compete for a Super Bowl in the near future. So as I said, I think there's definitely gonna have to be some improvements being made next season. We're definitely have to take some leaps going into the right direction. The Raiders have a lot of young talent, so these young players are gonna have to show some legitimate promise. I think we're also gonna have to win some big games, show that we can not only compete with the top teams in the AFC and the top team in the AFC West division like the Kansas City Chiefs. I think, you know, we're actually likely gonna have to go out and show that we can win. We can beat these guys. So really the way I took it is there is a lot riding into next season, even if we're not gonna be a Super Bowl contender. And now I hope moving forward, Jimmy Garoppolo and Devante Adams can build a connection and have a lot of success together. I hope Josh McDaniels too can understand this and put Jimmy Garoppolo in the right situation to succeed, because I believe Davante Adams, you know, he kind of touched on this when talking about Jimmy G, how if you play a certain brand of football, it can definitely work with Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think he understands that Jimmy Garoppolo, he is a good quarterback, but at the end of the day, he is more of a system quarterback and he can't really play in any type of offense. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't much of a deep thrower. His mobility is somewhat limited as well, and this may not excite Davante Adams, but that also doesn't necessarily mean that Jimmy G can't be effective with all these weapons and a solid run game like he had back in San Francisco. And Jimmy G is familiar with this offense, with the Josh McDaniels system, so we're just gonna have to see how this offense performs next season. I think ultimately this team still has more talent on the offensive side of the football than the defense at this moment, so I think it's definitely gonna be crucial to see how this offense performs next season. If we take a step back, then that's not going to be very good for the Raiders moving forward and the overall enthusiasm of Devante Adams. Look, this guy is just a premier talent, a future Hall of Famer. I think the Raiders cannot afford to let this guy go. The Raiders need to do everything in their power to make this guy happy. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about this whole Davante Adams situation. Are you guys worried about the future of Davante Adams or not? Let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, that's all I have for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.